Hi. Hi there, this is Joanna. This is Joanna, JOANNA CHOŁUJ. Joanna CHOŁUJ or CHOŁUJ, but it's JOANNA CHOŁUJ. And today I want to do the transmission in English that I think I've never had, about topics that are a little difficult, I think, but they are in discussion. It's about black people, white people, and other races. Do they exist? And okay, and I want to talk about it from the perspective not only historical or genetical. I'm not a historian. I'm not a scientist. I want to add to this discussion from the perspective of philosophy, esoteric, and that will be a little bit a Slavic and white perspective. So let's add to that discussion, and I think I will simplify according to what I'm talking in Polish. So let's just start with that discussion. And if you are towards the idea, the agenda, more or less, about white people, black people, immigrants, and more or less that, then you should just switch off. All right, because probably what I will say will not be will not go along with what you think. All right. Okay. About me, I'm JOANNA CHOŁUJ, and I'm Polish, and I'm in Polish we say Viedma, so it's a person who's sage, you could say. I just know some stuff. I'm a philosopher, you can say, a spiritual philosopher, and I just help people. I do consultations and sessions and processes for people online, and I write books and do webinars. So you can check out my website. It's frommatrix2self.com. Okay, and soon you will have the store available online. Right now it's more or less manual. Right. All right, so let's talk. And I will go by points, I think, so that it was more or less clear and understandable what I'm going to say. So that's the. Let's talk about black people, white people, but not in the sense that you think. All right. First of, and it will be more or less as well as about what you say, the white race. Now, I think that races, in that sense, as you use it now, don't exist. But there, if you would talk about races, then you would probably talk about two races only in the world, and those races are white people and black people. And it sounds like a simplification, but I don't think so. It's not. So I said I'm not a historian. I know history or genetics, right? We can talk about it, but that's not my perspective. My perspective is holistical. So so it's more philosophical. And yeah, I do say there are kind of race, but it's not exactly like race. It's more or less like Rudolf Steiner from anthroposophy used to talk about it, that there are two races, but in fact we are talking about two mentalities. That there are two mentalities, two types of mentalities in the world, and if you have that philosophical perspective, that depends on energy, because everything is energy. We've got just energy and matter, right? Invisible and visible. That's what we've got. And so the energy is that we've got the idea. Yeah, I know, depending how you go with that, with philosophy, Buddhist or not Buddhist, whatever. But simplifying all, there is only one philosophy. And it more or less goes like that the world goes with, it's a whole, so holistical. You can look at that the world is whole, but as well is divided. So it's true, there are two tendencies, two mentalities, two energies. So if you look at the society as well, you will look for two mentalities, two energies, and two kind of races of people, all right? And now it's not exactly race, so we shouldn't be racist, and I'm not racist, I'm not Nazist, I'm not nationalist, right? I'm not. It's just esoteric, what I'm saying. Okay, so there are two energies in the world, and that translates into two kind of people, two kinds of people, and that will be black and white, yes. And those black mentalities, those black people, simply would be people who are more native. And I'm not just going to say talk about nations. Are they what? Are we talking about Africans or Jews or American Africans? No, it's not about that. But there are black and white people, and black people are more native. They are just more truly, and it's neutral. What I'm saying, it's not positive or negative. I'm not judging those people. Native people are more connected to feminine energy. Doesn't mean that they are not masculine and that they are not men, but they are more connected to feminine energy, and that just means that they respect naturally much more, are connected to the Mother Earth, to nature. They understand nature better, and they feel much better that they are part of nature, a part of the universe, and they do live much more in respect to nature, much more connected to nature. And those are all native people, yeah, of Americas, but I think natives are everywhere in the world. Simply, those are those people much more connected. Okay, we've got them in Siberia, we've got them in Africa, in Americas, in Asia, every part. Okay, and this is so-called race of native people, and those people, I call them earth people. I call them earth people. Those people are just much more in feminine energy, but in the sense that they are connected to Mother Earth, and they are as well more or less in a passive mode. And think about it. For example, think about it. What are the qualities that, independently on if it's a man or woman, what are the qualities that join some people in every part of the world, okay, or some kind of nations, or native people, and that will be that they are just more in feminine energy, in the sense that they are more going with their life, like they are going through the process. It's important. The process is much important, for example, than the goal. They just live here and now, and they don't need to learn it. That's just natural for them, right? So those are earth people, I think. And right now, many people will judge. I cannot really switch off comments in Facebook, but I will just delete if anybody will put anything inappropriate. But I think those native people, those people of the earth, they are just the most important part of this earth, and those people need to be here, and they are not really respected right now, but it's the epoch of the revival of feminine energy. That's why we've got so many immigrants all over the world, okay? Because the feminine energy and those rights of native people, and as well of women all over the world, were just not respected, okay? So that's the revival. The thing is that, okay, from this part we've got those black people. I'm calling that black mentality, and it's not judgmental, right? Black mentality, native mentality, earth people, earth mentality. That's the root race. That's the race, the most important for the earth. and from the other side we've got white people. Now, earth people, native people, black people, I call them all black. They are all yin. They are all black energy of this earth, and they came from earth. They are earth people, earthians. They evaluate. How to say that in English? They came from the evolution of animals and human on the earth. That's what I think, right? That's not really something you can check. I'm not fully going with the Darwin theory. It's not that, because that says that all the people came from that. I don't think so, it's all. And I'm not going fully with any kind of sometimes weird and disconnected with logic theories, secret theories or whatever. No, I'm just, my perspective is more or less holistical, so I'm just looking at nature, I'm looking at science, and then I'm looking at philosophy and esoterics, like what we've got all that. So what comes from that? And I think from that comes that we've got earth people, native people, who are more in feminine energy, and it doesn't mean they are feminine, because that's not the same, all right? Feminine energy basically is neutral, right? But they've got those qualities, like that I said, they are in a process, they are here and now, they are, yes, they are more passive, meaning in the sense that they are more acquiring everything that gives the universe, and they know how to do it. They just go with the flow, right? And they, yeah, I think they are much more connected to the earth. They understand the earth well. Now, from the other side, we've got white people. Now, who are the white people? White people are white. And yeah, we all are now mixed, and that's how it needs to be. I will tell you the whole process, but I don't want to talk for hours. The white people, I think they don't come from earth, because they are kind of disconnected and so much in their ego. They are disconnected. They don't really understand the needs of Mother Earth, right? Okay, now white people are more in masculine energy. From the point of view, esoterical and esoterical, I don't know, and philosophical, right? So earth people, native people, black people are more yin, feminine energy, from the cycle of universe, yin yang. So they are more yin, and yeah, yin goes down to earth, right? More chaotical, more creative, more in their body, more in their down part of their body. We've got 7 chakras. Here is the heart, and everybody, every human, and black is human and white is human. Black and white is human, right? But black mentality and white mentality is human. We've got the heart, and that's how we should connect those two races and two people, two persons. But black people, they've got much stronger the down part, because they are connected to down to the earth. So they are much more connected to the earth, much more in their roots, much more connected to their territory, to their family, to their traditions, much more traditional, much more down to earth, really in matter as well, materialistic as well. Materialistic, as we say here, they say here in Peru, sobrevivencia, okay? So you, first of all, you need to have the ground, you need to live with something. They are so how to say, down to earth. So they are so realistic. Like when I go, I'm white. To here in Peru, I go to the park, and I want to. I just do something, and come children, and they want to play with me because I've got some poi, right? Something they never seen. They have never seen. All right, so. Or I'm playing with something, okay, they want to play, and so I'm just starting to play with them. I show them, then come mothers, I say, so how much is it? How much do I pay you? And they say nothing. So they are just kind of disconnected, because they are not materialistic, they are just exchange. That's clear. We are earth people, we are in matter, in the butter. It can translate itself into materialism, but it's not exactly that, basically. So they bring me stuff like, I don't know, some toy for my child, or some food they share. You need to, they don't really explain, because they don't know what to explain. They just don't understand my mentality, whitish, and I don't really understand their mentality, I have to say. That's what is the learning right now. And so that's like that. Everything is exchange, everything is matter. You need to, they don't understand how you can be so much in ideas that you forget about your eating, about your almuerzo, about your lunch. I can forget. They will never forget, because they've got stomach which is very strong, all right? That part. And yeah, they tell me I'm racist. Why? Because I say that we are more mental, and we go more through ego, white people, and they don't. Because their ego and their mind of native people, black people, yeah, right, those earth people, the ego will not, nunca, never will manipulate them as much as their body, for example, right, or the instinct, because their instinct is much stronger. And yeah, it translates into jokes. Okay, let's put it as a joke, so that nobody will tell me I'm racist. But yeah, I think earth people, they are much stronger in dancing, all right, or in sports. And they've got this up down part, legs, much stronger than white people who have, that's kind of strange, right? You can say strange, but it's not strange, it's mentality. Why, for example, whitish people, as well Asiatic, like Japanese or Chinese, I don't know, they are much stronger with their hands in sports, for example, hands and mind. And the sports are like strategy. Okay, why? Because that's another white mentality. And the black people, they are just much stronger in their body instinct. They just trust it. So, and as well, they are just much more better in their body. They feel their body better. They are much better in the rhythm, in the song. They are better in blues, rap, and everything which is in rhythm. That's clear. That's just normal. If we put off everything which is distractions like racism or whatever, then you will just see there are two energies, there are two mentalities, there are two races, all right? All right, so those are black people, and now more or less we mix, but the genetics will never let itself mix so much as not to have those two, all right, two tendencies, even if somebody is like very much mixed. All right, and white people. So who are white people? Because this is all the topic all over the world, and I'm not going with the agenda, right? But as well, I'm not going to go with the ego of white people. So let's talk about all of that. Let's talk about Hitler and all the other ideas. Okay. So I said that there are those two races, right? Now I think that, let's say, black people came from Earth, and white people don't come from Earth. Where do they come from? Yeah, we don't know. So if we don't know, let's just see everything and manipulate our mind. I think that's my idea. It's not supported in, you don't have any proofs. Yeah, because if you look at it scientifically, you will see genetics history, all right? So, and you can go to some limits, and you'll see that you cannot go much further, and you will just see, okay, so we had this Adam maybe some 200,000 years ago, and not much of it we know, and then genetics people from genetic studies, they just say, okay, so it was haplogroup, so DNA from the line of the father, right? It will be A, and then B, and so on, and all that comes from Africa, and then all that comes. I don't know what is the last one. Zeta. I don't know, but we white people, they say they are R. Genetics R. So in Europe we've got R1A, Slavic people, or in India or Persia, Old Persia, or in you've got other people, and they say, okay, so it evaluated, right, from A, some Adam who needed to be black, I think, in Africa, it evaluated to white people because they came to the north and they became white. Yeah, I don't believe that simply. I just don't believe it. It's just because when you get to people who get married, and in the line of the woman, let's say woman, you've got only black people, or men, only black, or more or less black, okay? Not many white, and the other line is white. The black will be stronger. So I don't think so, biologically or genetically it's possible. Even with those thousands, but not so many thousands, okay? It's like 200,000 from Adam to, let's say, nowadays people. It's not much time to make from black people a white, from a black person a white person. I just don't think so it's possible. Excuse me, but I much more think it's possible to look in those other histories. So let's look in it, and without any prejudice. So there are other stories in all mythology of the world about two kind of people, and I think I was talking about that in Polish, so I'll say again, even in this Bible, or two brothers in every, you've got two brothers in any mythology, in Sumer, Anunnaki, any kind, okay? But just take Cain and Abel, because kinda everybody knows the story. So Cain was, we don't really say which one was black, which one was white, but then when you interpret and see more or less studies, it comes out that Cain, it was connected with Africa and black people, especially if you look much deeper in the Bible, and Abel, which, yeah, those two persons is just philosophy, is just mythology, is just examples. One was white, the other one was black, and the one, I think, was from the earth, and Cain was from the earth, and he was from Africa, from Rai, from the paradise in Africa, from the garden, like this kind of vegetarian, as I say, because I think that native people much more are vegetarian, because they just are gatherers, they just much more gatherers than hunters, because they live in the area where everything grows. So they just naturally, why would they hunt if they can just go and gather, right? And so the time is as well more as lazy, and you just don't want to, and that's also a black mentality. So Cain, I think, was black, and that was that one who had plans, and God did not like him, right? and chose Abel. And who is Abel? Now Cain, k, and the phonetic continuum, you can say is k, ch, ci, ch is connected in Polish, right? But in any other language as well is connected to what is black. Now I will not talk about black is connected kinda with B. That's weird, but there are lots of weird stuff in English. But in basic signs, K and ch, ch as well is connected with something which is black, hidden, creative, yin mentality, yin energy, something which is connected more or less with something blackish, something from Mother Earth, right? That energy. And that's why you can say then Cain was black, right? And he was connected to the paradise, to the earth, to the garden, to plants. And in the Bible says that he offered plants to God, but God didn't like it, and he liked better Abel, and Bele. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like black. Misunderstanding. No, Bele is connected with biały, Bele, ba. B is connected to something that is grows. Everything in the spring, it's like bzz, bzz, bzz. It's just growth, it expands, and the sound B, Bele is like that. So Abel is connected to the not to the earth, but much more to the cielo, to the heaven, to the sky, and to spiritual stuff, and to something which is white. So white energy, okay, white race, white energy, young energy, and he offered, I think, a sheep, right? So it was an animal. He was the if Cain, let's say, it's gatherer mentality, and Abel is hunter mentality, and it's animal mentality, and so it's, you can say, it's a basic to races, mentalities, tendencies in human, right? And it's more or less white people are more or less connected with that part, okay, above heart, that part of chakras, that part of the body, much more connected to their throat chakra and spiritual and mental part, right? And I know right now it's not popular to say that, but that's clear. It has always been clear that it's like that. And we need to look at that as potential, not as something racist. All right. Now, it doesn't mean that the other race doesn't have the other part of their body, right? It doesn't mean that, simply, let's put it simply. It doesn't mean that black people or some people from Africa or native people simply, it doesn't mean that they are stupid. It doesn't mean they don't have the upper part of chakras and that they don't need to grow it. They do. And the thing is that why is it like that? It's that the universe needs to grow, and those two, it's the whole. It was one once, then it got separated, and then it needs to separate more and more and more, and there is a development and that, and in yang needs to be a little bit of yin, and in yin needs to be a little bit of yang. That means that races, black, white, need to learn from each other, and one needs to be more, let's say, materialistic, but that just means that white people shouldn't be so much in ego and so much in their, like, just flying into cosmos, right? They should be much more down to earth and respecting the earth and respecting their body, and black people should become much more. It's not about. I was going to say educated. It's not, because lots of them are very much educated and they've got their wisdom, but they. The thing is, I think it's not about wisdom, it's not about education, and it's not about spirituality, because the spirituality of native people, those earth people, it's, I would say, many times is much deeper than spirituality of very superficial white people. But it's as well, I think, about the most about civilization. They just need to grow in that, because if they don't, they just don't expand, and they as well don't defend the Mother Earth, and they don't defend their rights, because they are just like that, like in Peru. Okay, they are just in sobrevivencia. Okay, we just live. We are in a process. Oh, that's okay. We will survive. But life is not only about survive, it's as well about expanding and going much more with civilization, right? Much more. And white people shouldn't go that far with civilization. That means that one race should kind of control the other. Black people, earth people, should control white in their ideas to expand the civilization and destroy the Mother Earth. And white people should much more respect the earth people and black people, and that means respect the nature, and don't put so much civilization into the nature, because they just destroy it. So that's the final learning and final cooperation. That's the goal, right? All right. Now let's go a little more in those sacred ideas, and yeah. And I was going to say, where do white people come from? I think they come from outside the earth. There are ideas that they come from this constellation of Aldebaran. Aldebaran, you say in English, right? So that's the constellation where they are connected very much to the Taurus, to the bull. And what does it mean in zodiac? That means, and yeah, that means more or less civilization, stabilization. That means the fertility. That means that part when we start to build the system. And that's what white people do, because black people, black mentality is more or less in, okay, here we are, here are some plants, we have the garden, let's just gather. Growth, let's gather, nothing else, right? And white people are much more in planning. Okay, so let's make it bigger, let's make it, let's grow it, let's make it better and better and better. And I say that better, too much better is always the worst. So that's why black people should control the white hands. So how far better it can be, because that better will be worse as far as development of civilization is going, right? But I think that they do come from Aldebaran. Now, who? Yeah, they said, the genetic people, scientists said, okay, so here is Adam, and he probably was black in Africa and so on. So, and then from that came people and white people. Who are white people? We don't know who are white people right now. So so those are people from Europe. So most people in Europe are like R1B, R1A, but it's that's it. Caucasian people, but right now genetics says that. That's not so clear, and so Semites, those Arabs, for example, or Jews, they are white or not? They are J haplogroup. Yeah, that's not clear, but mentality is black. Mentality is black people, because it's feminine mentality, it's feminine energy. All right. That's what we can say, but I'm not just against Jews or anything. It's just, let's just go from that to philosophy. Yeah, But the thing is, and let's talk about Hitler, right? I don't think he was right, in the sense that he thought, but that's not really his fault. He had information. That's it. Through Slavic people, right? And not only that. Right now, some people in the out there in Podel, in how to say, in rulers, they've got some information, right? And Tesla was Slavic, okay, and that Maria Orsic or whatever, right? Different pronunciation and how to write down her name. She was a medium. She was a spiritual person. She was a person who was helping Hitler. That's clear. She was she conscious or not where it was going to? I don't know, but that's clear. Why, for example, Hitler or Himmler, they didn't got direct insight? Well, so I will be direct, yeah. They couldn't. And if we say, for example, that white people came from Aldebaran, okay, they came from other constellation, okay, came here many times. I think they were doing their descent, okay, many times. I don't know. I think that those buildings in Peru, there are some which are really very different. I would say they've got like million years, and that's technology we don't have. Even Americans with their bases, secret, whatever, they don't have it. I think so. There is a clear difference, but I think those did white people, maybe from Aldebaran, from other, maybe there are many races in the cosmos, but the universe, but that's not the topic. I'm just saying that there are two races, two mentalities. With one is more spiritual and mental, and one is more down to earth and the matter. And it's neutral, what I'm saying. So those white people were coming many times, and I think they exactly knew, because they were much more connected to spiritual, to the idea, much more developed as well, I think, yes, as well, I think, as a race, or simply developed, but in matter they weren't so developed, because their planet maybe was not so material. It was not like Earth. I think Earth is unique, but so they knew the idea of the cosmos, and the idea of the cosmos finally is to it was very much black hole, very much energetic, and that just it became to expand, and just the matter came out of it. But there was energy, there was matter, and the idea. So we can say here is matter, here is spirit, but the idea of the universe, ultimate idea, is just to mix it. And white people knew what was the idea, and that it has to come through Satya Yugas and Kali Yugas, so to the cycle of mixing everything with everything, and it has to create the human, the being, which will be ideal, but not to technology, not only matter. Okay, it needs to be as well spiritual, as well material, and that's difficult, because spiritual is here, so that's upper part of the human, and matter is here, and we know how difficult it is to understand this part, and so that those two parts connect, but it can connect through heart only. But this is the idea, ultimate idea of the universe, that this needs to connect, meaning do like the square the cycle. But that's what they want, and that's how sacred geometry is. You need to square the cycle, put a square in a cycle, or put a cycle in a circle in a square. All right, basically put spirit into the matter, through the matter, just like exactly inside this cosmic energy is like that. Basically, in nature is just like that. The human that is so difficult to do it, learn it, that spirit needs to come through the matter, and matter needs to come through the spirit. So it needs to be really well connected, so that Kundalini stuff will be much more efficient, right? And we will not put ourselves like up to the cosmos with the ego, and we will not just be so much down to earth. We'll be much more balanced. That's the idea. But this is difficult, and in earth people, black people, I think, were very much black and earth people. So it means that they were growing, but they couldn't really ascend to some level. And that's why I think the universe was inviting and was sending other type of people who were lacking the matter, their body, connection to the sounds, to the colors, to everything which is matter, beautiful. And those white people, we, white people, were coming to the earth at many occasions, okay? And I don't know, they were coming, building their stuff, preparing the connection, and there was some cataclysm, or they were just disputing, or they were just fighting as well, okay? So they were going out, and they were just, I think they were waiting to the moment when this earth race is ready for the connection. And I think that this readiness for the connection was more or less like in the Atlantis time. And this is not history, and this is not genetics, and this is not science, because science will not explain it. But let's look into it. So Atlantis, it was the time of all of the other Kali Yuga, and Kali Yuga is the time of Kali, and Kali is black, time of black. Kemal in Espanol, in Spanish is make it black, right? 10. And yeah, that's it. Canaan and so on is so black. It's the black paradise is Africa, and it's beautiful. But yeah, so what I was saying, yeah, I was saying that they were just white people. They were just coming on different occasions, and up to the times of Atlantis, I would say, or just after Atlantis. In fact, I think only the last Kali Yuga, black time, time of black people, was successful, and it was the time zero. How we say, the Jesus Christ came down to earth, so the spirit came into the matter, and that's a metaphor, right? Probably Jesus never existed, but that's what happened. That connection was really very deep and very, I think, successful, right? Before it didn't finish well with Atlantis, but it was meant to be, and many times, yeah, we can even talk about, depends on the territory, because we had Incas or Mayas or Aztecs, right? And I think they were as well white people. We don't really know about Mayas and Aztecs, and yeah, Rudolf Steiner, I don't know, Blavatsky, whoever, esoterics, and other people like Platon, they were talking about Atlantis, and they were saying that those people were connected with those strange buildings and constructions, and were connected with some science we don't have, and they were white. Yeah, I think so as well. But they tried to connect with native people, with black people, black race, right? They were trying to give the science, and they managed to do it at some level, but not exactly. I live in Peru, and I see how those Huancas are. So some people, maybe in the territory of Cusco, it was more or less successful, but not that much. I would even say that Incas were much more advanced than, for example, white people type Spanish. Haplogroup R1b, all right? So probably the moment it was too early, or it was just an experiment that put all the development of the earth at some level, but they didn't really success. Now, the thing is that it's difficult. It's difficult to directly connect white people with black people. It will never be exactly successful. We are not yet at that level. I think so. Maybe now we are at that level because we see what is happening in Europe. Now I'm not from I'm not from the side of ones, or not from this. I'm not against migrations or for migrations. It depends. It depends. Very much depends. It depends how we treat them and what do they do here in Europe, right? But I would say it's natural. It's natural because it's the epoch of the feminine energy revival. Feminine is healing. Feminine is time of black race. Feminine is time of black people. Feminine is time of migrations. Feminine is the time when black people enter in the space and territory of white people, and they learn, yes, but if white people don't put borders and they just don't get organized, they black people, because they are up, they are in dominance in that period, black people may destroy the civilization of white people, and maybe that's what it's meant to be, because that civilization just went too much, too far, destroying the earth, right, as well. But we don't know what will happen. I'm just saying some things are just, if you look from that level, holistic energy, what's going on in the earth, so it's all neutral, and you don't really see people with some names and nations. It's not like that. It's just universe. It's neutral. God is not that God with beard, and he's not like cherishing anybody. He's just like, okay, so this energy goes up, so then it needs to go down. It goes down, it needs to go up, and whatever. It's like just like the level, the balancing stuff in the forest, right? Or in yeah, if something goes too much, it has to balance itself, nothing else. Okay, I'm just saying that right now in this epoch we've got the times when the times of black people. So okay, before you had times when white people descended to the earth, many times descended, right? But with really successful they were, let's say, when they really created a good mix in Europe, and that good mix, I think, was scientists say that some 30,000 years ago came people who are haplogroup E, and I think they were white. They will not tell you that. E people are E2, E1, in English it's I, right? I people, I1, I2, haplogroup, the DNA, are those Nordics, Scandinavia, or South Slavic countries. Interesting, no? And they look completely different, but I think they both came from white people, and they didn't come from here. I think, yeah, let's go with those theories. I think they came from the Pole North, and that it's not really came from the earth, from the inside the earth. They came from through portal from another place, and because it's logical to think anything else. And they just were white, very much white. They were all, I think, white with hair just like a Scandinavian Nordic people, and or maybe some of them were red hair like Ireland, yeah, like in Ireland people have, or maybe they looked like Tocharians, for example. Those mummies had red hair. We don't know what eyes, but I think they had clear eyes, and those people were, I would say, those were white people, and that's what said Hitler, right? Because I left the topic. Why did he say it's only those Nordics were real whites? Not only those were real whites, because Slavic people R1A are also white, very much white, much more white than R1B, which came from R1A DNA, but it's just the second descent, I would say, from the pole north or south. And I think there's a reason. Even Steiner, who I said was pro-Germany, Maria also was pro-Germany, Tesla, who I don't know what he was pro, but I know who is using his stuff now. They all were Slavic genetics, and they came from this second descent from the R1 people. But that haplogroup I think also were white people. They were not Slavic, right? But they were white, were very, very, very much white. And how do we call those white? All of those white, we call them Aryas. And that's the Aryan race. The true Aryan race came from Aldebaran, and that's haplogroup I and haplogroup R1A. And probably other mixes, but it cannot be too much mixed, because it will be too much mixed, you will not get your insight, right? That's why people who are too much mixed, like R1B, mixed very much with Jews, and right, and who are black mentality, right, black race. If you will be too much mixed like that, and with some other genetics, you will not perceive stuff spiritually and mentally so clearly as white people, simply, and you will not be connected simply with that through the genetics, through that light. You will not be connected so much to the cosmic energy, simply. It's impossible. So those people, I would give justice to Hitler and Himmler, because I think they simply knew, because they got that information, and I think they used it in a bad way. I think I don't want to exactly explain all that, but you can see it in signs, in their symbols, that they use those symbols which were sacred, like runas, and they just put it upside down so that the energy and spiritual stuff translates itself into power and matter for them. That's why they did it, because they were Satanists, and they were also using. That's interesting. They had that castle in Wawelsburg. You know, like most castles are built by white people, really white people, Slavic people, Arya Slavic in Germany. Half of Germany is Slavic, but even further. So Wawelsburg is like Wawel, right? And Wawel is connected to Babel. Never mind. They had their occult space, and they did rituals, satanic rituals with children and all that. And that's clear. And they used the runa, which is Sovilo, which is connected to sun, and they put it upside down. They made it the thunder out of it. And Sovilo runa is connected normally with the sun, that yang, and so this is like the Christ, the sun that starts, it's going up, right? Sunrise, and they put it upside down because it's like the thunderbolt, so going down. So that's why they say that they are connected not with the white sun, they are connected with the black sun. But let's not explain much. They fought well. It's true that Nordics, haplogroup I, were Arya. Yes, they were first Aryas who descended, not first, but those Aryas in Europe who lived there. We say they were old Europeans and very much in matriarchalism and so on. Yeah, but they were very developed, and their language is a part of our Slavic language right now, and they had a very deep feeling of what is speech, what are sounds, and all that, because the civilization of Vincha at the south, I think that also came from those areas, from haplogroup I, and the Nordics who had the runes, they didn't get really from the next Aryans, R1A, Slavic, but they just had it before. Anyway, those are Aryas. Those two, Aryan race is a white race, and it's different mentality, and it's got their potential, and black race has its potential. and their destination in all that destiny is to mix, but not in the sense to learn from each other, and the black race needs to strengthen upper part, which is spiritual, mind a little more development and civilization, and mental, and white people need to strengthen their down part of their body. But yeah, everything is a lesson. So sometimes what did, for example, Inca, it was just, I think, too early. They couldn't do it really well. The development of native people, earth people over there was not so sufficient, so they couldn't really change that place of America. They didn't really change it. But what changed is Europe. And it can be that those Aryans who were haplogroup I, it was that part of time that they really weren't so much in masculine energy. Yeah, they mixed themselves with haplogroup N, Finns, Finnish people, Finnish girls, I guess. But they lived the way like natives, we can say. And then we say they were hunter-gatherers, right? Very strong hunter mentality, but still they were very much in matriarchat, you can say. So when there came the next part of next descent of white people, so which is I think what, as Steiner said, it's Polarians, Hyperborea, and in Polish it's simply connected with boars, big forests and big plains, steppe, right? So, and Pole North, and yeah. So those people were much more in masculine energy, and they connected with much more feminine energy, I would say, of haplogroup I, and it can be with women, and whites with whites, haplogroup I with haplogroup L1A. That's why they created the real strong community, because that in fact it was whites who mixed themselves with native people, changed a little mentality, became a little more earthy, and they connected themselves with other whites, which came later, I think, and they created what we say Slavic society. It was what we can say Arya society, right? But that was that which people don't want to accept, but it existed, right? That was those people, free people that were Arya, Slavic, Vandas, Veneti, basically. Veneti, I think those were haplogroup I. So Nordics connected to this matriarchat first. But then they created some kind of very liberal but as well developed society as well. So I think that connection was the most successful, and I think that was after Atlantis. So it was between 30,000 years ago and let's say 10,000 years ago they connected haplogroup I with haplogroup R1A. They connected, they created the culture, philosophy, mythology, language, Slavic, and from that came others, right? R1B, and so on. As well white people, but much more mixed. And though this is white civilization, we can say, but it was not so much, you can say, there was the aspect of being of earthy people, right? Because they became to mix. And everything, yeah. Now the thing is, people say, okay, so finishing, right? People say that what this idea of purifying the race, let's purify the race, and we are Aryan race, we are white people, we need to protect. Yeah, we need to put borders. White people need to know what they did good and what they did bad, what they need to learn, right? But they need to put borders and defend themselves and defend their culture, right? True. But if purification means destroy everybody who has another type of mentality or not mix yourself, that's not it. That's not exactly it, because that's what Hitler wanted to say, and he didn't understand the message. He had the message, yeah. So that he had the message that that they need to purify the race, and the white race is the superior. It's not really superior. It's in the sense that this part of the white race people is stronger, but doesn't mean they are superior, because they are very much debil in all that is respect to the earth, and in how to be in presence, how to be in the process, how to relax yourself, right? And respect the earth, that's the most important, and respect other people. So white people have their deficiencies and black people have their deficiencies. So that's what I say, that there must be lessons we need to learn from each other, and that's what Hitler didn't understand. But probably many people didn't understand, like Spanish people in South America or Catholic Church, right? It's all goes about destroying the other and going with the Satanism, meaning use everything to my power, my ego, right? Now I think that this union of haplogroup R1 of ARYA, all right? First ARYA, haplogroup R1I, and haplogroup of I people, and haplogroup of old Europeans with the next Europeans. So haplogroup R1A, this union is ideal, I think, and in that sense they didn't really want to destroy nobody. They really mixed well. They really preserved the language, and they really preserved, they gave all the civilization tools, and much more efficiently than Incas, for example, I would say, because they changed not only Europe but the world. And I think they ARYA people, I'm talking about ARYA people, all right? I'm not really talking about the imperialists from the West Europe, which were second part of white people, second tranche, right? I think they did it really well. They gave the signs to China, to India, Persia, and so on, right? And to the whole world, and not with the sword exactly, but with living together. So that's how we need to see it. And the thing is that when you go with the heart, and when you really want to teach something to other people, give them civilization, sometimes you suffer, and sometimes you just let yourself sacrifice, you sacrifice yourself and just perish. And that's what happened, right? Because why Hitler, for example, wanted to destroy not only Jews, that he considered black people, right, those inferior race, not ARYA, and why did he want to destroy Nordics? Were ARYA to him, right? Haplogroup I. And why did he want to destroy Slavic people? Which is true, he destroyed many of us, because he thought they are also black. But I think no. I think the truth is that he knew that we are also Aryan race, and he didn't want to have the competition, right, in that matter, because he wanted the Germans or ARYA. Germans are not directly ARYA, they are just too much mixed. Their genetics is just too much mixed, but yeah, they are white people, they just need to learn not to be so imperialist. And to go with the heart, because to go with the heart, only ARYA people, really that mix of haplogroup I and R1A knows how to go with the heart and mix really well, I think. Other areas, white people who are in Atlantis, they didn't know how to do it. They didn't manage. Inca, Aztecs and all that, they didn't know how to do it. All other people just didn't know how to mix with native people. Maybe it was difficult, maybe it was not the time, but they just maybe didn't really go with the heart as well. Okay, all those experiments just finished. Hitler doesn't exist, right? And what we have now is we are going to we are in the epoch of feminine energy, and we just need to relax a little. I know that there is a war in Ukraine, but that also goes with how it should to go. Why? There is the idea that there are 7 tribes, 7 Aryo-Slavic tribes, and that's how they were developing all that mix of civilization. All right, they were just going, I think they descended from the Pole North, like Polarians, Polacy, right, and Hyperbore Aryas, and they were going down up to the down part of Europe, right, and we are more or less in the 5 tribes, which is connected to Ukraine, and over there something is happening right now. And when this will be over, I'm not saying that over we will all die, but when this exchange, energetic exchange, will be over, it will go up. And yes, just like Steiner said, said many things that were not true, but he said that there are epochs, and we are more going to the epoch of America and Russia. Yeah, in a way, they are also Slavic and Aryas, right? So it will go up, and it will go back up to the Nordics and Baltic people. So through Russians but it will be like in 8,000 years or 8,000 years to the other Satya Yuga, because we are just going out from Kali Yuga, and Kali Yuga is the time of feminine energy and black people. So they need to migrate. Yeah, they need to migrate to Europe to understand what is it, this white people. And first they were like, wow, Germans, let's go to Western Europe. Yeah, so I went to the Western Europe and I've seen to them all the money and imperialism. I would say, okay, I'm just being mean, but then look what is happening. Even Germans and all other migration wants to come to Poland. The thing is, we are Aryas, so we will not let themselves destroy everything here, because we are Aryas. So there will be limits to that, and they need to come and not get so much money, but appreciate everything: culture, language, food, which is more natural, more healthier, and the calm, the safety, and everything that. They just need to come over here to the Arya Slavic race and black people, yeah, native people, and understand what really is the white race. Not like they see white race through imperialist America, through imperialist West Europe, or Spanish people, Catholic, who came to South America. That's not it. That's more or less the delusion and mentira. Mensonge, comment ça dit ça? Lie. That's more or less a lie. And yeah. So let them come. let's put on limits, and they need to learn from us what really are white people and what really is civilization. That's what I think. That's it. I think that's it from me. Yeah. Bye-bye.